Okay, so the software says we're live, so I'm assuming that we are going to be live and that everything works okay. A little bit of a change of plan tonight. I have a chronic condition and I get nosebleeds, so I just had a nosebleed just before. So just wanted to say I cannot guarantee it won't happen during the stream. I will try to stop the stream if that happens, and I will put this on private so that nobody has to go and watch me have a a meltdown during the stream. And I will also try to do it as fast as possible. One caveat when I have my nosebleed is I can't wear my glasses anymore. So I look strange without them and I don't necessarily see very well. So this is gonna be one of those very interesting streams, and I hope it's not going to go too disturbing, right? Try not to make it viral if something happens during the stream. Apologies. I knew this will happen eventually because that's why I was always scared of doing live streams, but it is what it is. I will do stuff that I don't normally do during streams. Drink water. So yeah, hope you can bear with me. And today was about actually Christmas, and this week is Sinterklaas. And I wanted to talk about the Dutch Sinterklaas and other countries' Sinterklaas and Santa and so on. Hi, Mello. I hope everybody's okay. Anyway, like I was saying, if something happens during this stream, I will just close it and pretend it never happened, and I will just reschedule it from another day, okay? So, while I start drawing, because I really want to finish it as fast, no worries. Okay, thank you, Mello. I will draw, and then today is a cupcake, and maybe we should start with cupcakes and muffins. What's the difference between them, and why is there a difference, and what's with the madeleines and stuff like that? So, okay, let's try to start drawing and start talking. I'm using the purple version of the Micron today because I was missing that. So I know not everybody liked that part, but hey, I do. So cupcakes. I thought that cupcakes and muffins were very similar when I was learning English, and it turned out that they're not similar. And then you also have the madeleines. So theoretically, it's almost a similar batter, but from what I could gather, is cupcakes have a flat top, and then you have toppings on top, like whipped cream or meringue or any other stuff. And those are your regular like cupcakes, and they're much smaller usually. And if you're talking about muffins are big, and they have toppings on the inside, sometimes topping on the outside, but they usually are the ones that are bursting out. Hi! Because I'm not wearing my glasses because of my nosebleed, I cannot really pronounce your name. Nitya, I hope I can actually see very well, but I don't. I see double, so I'm sorry, but hi. So cupcakes and stuff. So muffins are with things inside, and like much bigger. Like one portion of a muffin will set you back for your entire let's say dinner or anything. And then there's the French madeleines, which are very similar to cupcakes, lots of vanilla in them, but they can have different forms, so not necessarily the normal cupcake form. So the madeleines are, yeah, usually they have the same taste as a normal cupcake with nothing on top, or maybe a normal cupcake with just vanilla. And they're very good. They're the French ones. So theoretically, this drawing is a combination of a muffin and a cupcake. Why is the cupcake? Because it has this fancy topping on top, which I'm going to color in. And it is a muffin because it's kind of bursting out of its muffin shape. Oh, hello, Marlena. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Okay. So we are in the Christmas spirit and so on, but I am living in the Netherlands. So I was saying last time in our stories that actually Christmas is not that big here, but what is big and what is celebrated like super crazy is what we call Sinterklaas, or other countries call Saint Nicola. And other countries are kind of celebrated it, Christian countries are celebrating it on the 6th. It has quite some similarities, but the Dutch go way extra with this whole thing. So let me explain what is this Saint Nicholas, or for the Dutch, because they have really cool traditions. So he is a guy that of course brings presents to kids, just like in any other culture. He brings the presents though on the eve of the 5th towards the 6th, and not on the 6th morning. But this is almost like a month-long celebration that is starting somewhere in November and then culminates in the week of December, in the first week of December. So Sinterklaas, as we call him in Holland, or in Holland, in the Netherlands, we call him Sinterklaas. He's coming usually with a boat, together with his helpers. He looks a little bit like a pope or a cardinal, and like a mix between a cardinal and a pope. And I think he's modeled after a very early 3rd century bishop, Christian bishop, which is actually the Saint Nicola. And he used to be very generous, and he used to give money to the poor people. And he used to, for example, give like 100 golden coins to some very poor girls to save them from things like prostitution and so on. And give money to poor people to be able to eat and stuff. So he was very generous. So that's why this whole story of him coming and giving presents to kids. So in the current Dutch part, somewhere in October, they start with this whole celebration. Sinterklaas comes. He has this whole road trip. He comes from Spain to the Netherlands, and he has to go all around and with his boat or his steam train, and he has all sorts of adventures. Everything is on TV. Almost every year they think they're gonna have to cancel because, you know, Sinterklaas doesn't, you know, maybe his adventures will end and he cannot actually join the kids. So, you know, it's very interesting how they do that for the kids. But the fun part is that the kids have to let their shoes theoretically by the chimney, right? And they can do that basically any time between mid-November to the actual day, and they can put it out multiple times. And what they usually get is they get these peppernoten, which are like these cookies, which are very nice, and letters from Santa Claus. So you can imagine that this is really fun for the kids. And then Santa Claus comes with a big boat. It's all televised, and then he comes with his horsey, and he has this awesome horsey. And he walks around through the crowds, and you know, everybody's celebrating, and kids love him. Now, the most fun part of the celebration is called surprises, and that is, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to double check my nose. Kids at school get assigned a colleague or a friend for which they will, let's say, give a present. But this is not about the presents, because the presents are supposed to be very tiny. It's how you package the present. So people make these elaborate packages, like that represent like the hobbies of the person that they give the package. Like, it's usually very bulky. You have to make it yourself, so it's really a lot of craft. So like maybe you build a house, a cardboard house, or like cardboard car, and inside that one you hide the present. So they tend to make a lot of jokes. And with the present, you also have to give, this is the last thing, you also have to give a very fun poem to the person that you're gifting it. And the poem needs to be a sort of a roasting of the guy that you're giving present to. So you can imagine a lot of the kids are just really having fun building these very elaborate things and presents. And yeah, it can get very competitive, right? Who had the best prank and who had the best joke. But basically, this is the most known celebration that kids have, and it's not very common that necessarily Christmas is as big or they would get so many presents, right? Hey, Andre! How are you? Hopefully everybody's okay. Let me see, what should I start with? Okay. I am using number 5. I know it's a weird number. Oh yeah, let's talk a bit about the palette, and then I'll tell you about Christmas and Saint Nicola in other countries. Let me drink a little bit. Okay, so today it's not my usual palette. I'm gonna use my secondary one with all my fun colors, I call them. So, fun colors. This was originally a Sennelier 12 pan, and then I added a lot of Daniel Smith. And the Daniel Smith I added are very specific colors that I want to have, like the Wisteria, lavender, purple. Like this is Perlin Violet, really dark violet. I have Payne's Gray, Gray Titanium, Shadow Violet, and this is a nice Prussian green. It's more like a bluish green, Forest Green, Undersea Green, Rich Green Gold, and this other one. So it's a combination of Sennelier and Daniel Smith, and I'm gonna use this one for today because my big one, well, I've used it enough and I almost never get to use this palette. So I'm gonna do the flowers mostly in purples and violets, and then I'm gonna use the really nice greens here, and the Cupcake, maybe I'll use some blues and stuff. Yeah, we'll see. This one needs to be, I have some some orange and other stuff here. Okay, a little bit about the palette. I make my own palettes. I mean, I don't buy them. I just buy the colors that I like, because I don't necessarily always enjoy. Okay, I'm gonna start actually with gray. I don't enjoy doing things like mixing colors, because that takes way too long. So I'm gonna do a little bit of gray in this, and then I'm gonna add blue, but I'm just gonna add some shadows. Okay, and this is like the cream on top of the thing. Okay, where were we? Santa Claus, yes. So if the surprises weren't enough, right? What else is fun about Santa Claus is he has these helpers with him all the time that help him, you know, bring the presents and so on. He always comes on a white horsey, which is interesting. And it's called the Santa Claus part. I never know his name, but I'm assuming the kids would know names and stuff. I don't have kids, so I wouldn't know. Parents are really into the whole thing, because they need to know all the details, because their kids will need to know all the details. Okay, so these helpers are very interesting, because there was a lot of controversy around the helpers, because initially they had blackface, which is not very nice in this day and age. Although the Dutch will always say that the blackface is, oh, just because it's soot, because, you know, the black pit goes and, you know, brings presents to the chimneys. And I'm like, sure they do. Anyway, nowadays they don't do blackface anymore. They just do a little bit of like soot on the face. Oh, hi Florian. So that's what they do. So lots of controversy, but they usually are very mischievous, and you know, they just have lots of fun. They give the pepper note to kids. Anyway, all in all, really nice celebration. The question now, of course, is how does that compare with other countries? Because other countries are doing things quite differently. And I'll tell you a bit about... Oh yeah, there was another funny stuff, because yeah, the kids needs to put their shoes by the chimney, but of course nobody has chimneys anymore. So they are allowed to put it by radiators. So me and my husband were laughing, because then that means we can put our shoes all over the house, because we don't even have radiators anymore. We have floor heating. So technically anywhere that there's heating, you can put your shoes to get your presents. Anyway, funny. How it is in other countries? I think in other countries they still celebrate Saint Nicholas, and they celebrate also Christmas, and that is Santa Claus. So, or Father Christmas, as it is in England or other places, right? Father Christmas is different than Saint Nicholas. So they both bring presents to the kids. I think there's a couple of differences. Saint Nicholas leaves a little twig, the one that you punish the kids with, for the kids that are naughty, while Father Christmas, or it leaves a piece of coal for the kids that were naughty. Saint Nicholas comes, or let's say he travels usually with a horse, like in almost every culture. But Father Christmas usually comes with a sled, because he's much closer to well, how do you call them, to the end of the year and snow and so on. And in a lot of cultures he comes with the reindeers and right, the helpers are like, in a lot of culture I think Saint Nicholas doesn't have helpers except for the Dutch. He has a helper. But in other cultures, Father Christmas has leprechauns or other guys like helpers. And yeah, these were like the most important differences. While I was growing up in Romania, we had both, and I think it was we had Father Christmas and we had Saint Nicholas. And Saint Nicholas was usually bringing you the presents in your boots on the 6th, and Santa was bringing you the presents under the tree, right? Another key ingredient and interesting part is, for example, in the Netherlands, for Sinterklaas, as in the person that comes on the 6th or 5th or towards the 6th, you leave a carrot and a cookie. The carrot is for the horse of Sinterklaas, and the cookie is for Sinterklaas itself. But like for Father Christmas or on Christmas, you just leave milk and cookies, and that is for Santa's helpers as well, but you don't do anything with carrots. I find that also very interesting. But let me tell you the story that I was told when I was young, about where did the Father Christmas came from, like from religion. Of course, you can argue whether it's true or not or things, but this is what I was taught when I was young. And that is that the Mary, you know, they went to Jerusalem and she had to give birth, but nobody would get them a place, including the inn where she eventually stayed. But Father Christmas, how it's called, Christmas or Klaus, had a wife, and the wife, without him knowing, let them sit in the stable where Jesus was born. However, the guy found out and cut the hands of his wife because of what happened. I know Romanians are very gruesome in everything, right? So he cut the hands of the wife, but then Virgin Mary did the miracle and reattached the hands of the wife, and that made the guy, the inn owner, start believing in Christianity and all of the stuff and miracles and things like that. Which is very interesting. So he started celebrating because, you know, his new belief, and because his wife was kind of cured, although to be honest, he's the guy that caused it. And he started, you know, he started bringing gifts of all sorts of things like milk and stuff to Mary and everybody. But as a punishment for what he did, because he didn't believe, he only believed when he was shown. As a punishment, he was punished for all eternity on Saint Nicholas Day to bring gifts to everybody, to all the kids. And this was the story I was told when I was young and restless, you know. And this used to just symbolize the fact that there are consequences for everything we do, and just because you apologize for something, it doesn't mean that you won't suffer the consequences for what you do. So that was like one of the teachings we were getting when I was young, that it's not enough to say I repent and, you know, all that and then assume that you're gonna get away with, or you're gonna be forgiven. As in, you are going to be forgiven, but you still have to be responsible for the consequences of what you've done. So I think that's a pretty neat concept. I haven't encountered it in many other places. And however, Father Christmas was a different, so this guy was Saint Nicholas. Father Christmas was a different story altogether, because he was more like bringing in the new year and had absolutely no connection with whatsoever with Jesus or anything. Only later on he got more, let's say, into mainstream. I will deepen some colors later on. This is a cool palette, right? What I have here. So it's not warm colors. This is like really cool, because we're starting to get really cold. So I'm really wanting to show that with my paintings as well. And that's why I chose this palette and not the other palette. Okay, now here I'm going to have to do some brown. So let's see what types of brown I have. I have a burnt sienna. That's interesting. It's a fun way to just make yourself only use a limited palette. Let's see what happens. Okay, I can make a very much nicer brown if I add gray. So if you have gray, you're saved. Okay. Gonna add here. So I was wondering, how was Christmas and everything else received for in your countries, or where you grew up? For me, it was always, I liked December because I always had presents twice or 3 times, or as many times as I wanted. For me, it was always a nice period of the year. I would get, of course, presents are, my mom always was buying me clothing. I don't know if your parents were doing the same. Mom, I know you're watching. Sorry, I have to tell the world what you were doing. I'm not saying, because even now, while I'm much older than before, she still buys me clothing and things, because apparently that's what mothers do. They buy clothes. It's really nice. Okay. So I'm going to utilize some more gray. Let's see, this became way too blue. Yeah, that would be funny if I get a nosebleed right now. Then we get to use red in our painting. Huh? It's like you can see the headline. Art YouTuber causes international incident by throwing in blood. That's one way to get viral. I do have to let things dry. So I'm trying to do not everything that is together or next to each other, right? Ta-ta-ta! And this is going to be even a more cooler shade, because this is going to be lavender. This flower on the corner. It's gonna be nice. The problem with pastel colors, even on Daniel Smith or any colors that you might have, because they're pastel, that means they were made with probably white, so they're much more opaque than normal colors. So you have to be very careful how you use them. You can't really lay stuff on top, but there's gonna be nice. This is gonna have the point because this is gonna be red, and that's gonna be like extra. It's gonna be nice. I'm gonna add some more red here and there just to make some nice contrasts, right? It's a totally different palette, so anyway. Da-da-da. I'm hoping that people are watching. I know that some of you like to color in the same time as me, as in color anything that you have, like coloring books. So I'm hoping that you are able to do so and that you're having fun. Because, hey, we're in the middle of the week and we need a little bit of headspace to get through this week, right? So, oh, this is so nice. This lavender, it fits really well with all of these ones. That's going to be nice. Okay, let's see what type of red I have on this palette. You see, the fact that I'm not using this palette very often should speak to to the fact that I maybe should use it more often. I'm used to the big palette that I have because I have all the colors I could ever possibly need. So I was never forced to make do with a limited color palette, but it's a good learning experience. Oh, this is such a nice dark red. Why am I using this brush? This is a round but with a pointy round. So I really like it because I can get really precise. Like a normal round you would use when you wanna just draw some round leaves or something like that. But I would use this one. And by the way, this color is alizarin crimson. So it's more of a brownish red. Really beautiful red though. Dun, dun. Let's not forget to, oh, okay, this one really stands out. It's really nice, I think. All the cool colors and then a red there. That's gonna be nice. Okay, drinking. Let's deepen some more colors here. Here. I'm gonna add whites at the end because I'm realizing that maybe I didn't do this thing very good. So no worry, the stamens are going to be standing out at the end. These are what I call anemones. Anemones. And they're very beautiful flowers. They have lots of nice petals and can be very varied in colors. Oh, I almost did a boo-boo. Almost did a mistake there. Yeah. I'll think about what I do in the middle. I don't always know how I'm going to do things. Okay, now I needed a little bit of a darker brown. This one. I'm gonna do just normal brown, more darker here. It's not gonna be dark everywhere, right? By the way, can you guys hear me? I keep talking slower and slower. And I'm thinking maybe nobody's hearing me. That could be. And I apologize if nobody's hearing me. I'm trying not to antagonize my nose to make it bleed again, so that's why. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. This one, I'll decide what color should be. Let's try some greens. Rich green gold. That is a really interesting yellowish green, but it's the cooler side. Not sure. Let's see. It's more very nice color. I noticed that only after a day or so the actual high definition of the video starts. So that's when you see all the cool little details. You know what? Let's go with it. Like I was saying, I don't see very well without my glasses. So we can hear you well. Yeah, okay, cool. And you like that color? Yeah, thank you. Because I don't see very well, I kind of went not like over the lines, so we're just gonna go and pretend it is on purpose. We're gonna pretend I did this on purpose. It's okay. That's the beauty with watercolors. Nobody minds. It looks pretty whether you go over the line or whether you're doing it like super. Where are your glasses, Florin? Florin, you weren't here in the beginning, but I had a nosebleed. Sorry. And usually when I have a nosebleed, I try not to put the glasses, otherwise I get another nosebleed. So I I will have to forego the glasses for now. So it is what it is. We have to deal with it as it comes. This green will be like an underlayer. Let me use a paper towel to blot some of it out. Yeah. Because otherwise we have harsh edges, and I don't like harsh edges. Okay. Hope that explains where my glasses are. Actually, they're somewhere on the desk, which I don't even know where I put. Oh yeah, they're on the other desk, so I'm not gonna bother with them. Dun, dun, dun. Adding some more lavender. Dun, dun, dun. Adding some more rich green gold here. And then I'm going to darken it up with some forest green. And the forest green is this a Sennelier green? Let me see. Yeah, this is a Sennelier green. Okay. Sennelier are making really nice, wonderful watercolors. So the only difference that I could see is that they're French. Is that a difference actually? Just because they're French? No, there's not a difference. They're kind of the same quality as Schmincke and Daniel Smith. Really nice, gorgeous colors. Awesome variations. Expensive. Well, pretty much in the same line as all the other colors. So I got the Sennelier ones as a present from my husband. So we were in this big art shop and I was buying a lot of things and I saw the Sennelier in there and I was like, oh, I really want it. And then he was like trying to convince me not to get it, and he kept saying like, yeah, but you have so many watercolors, what do you need extra? Why would you pay money? It looks the same as the other one. So he was really trying hard to convince me not to buy it. With the reason for it is because he wanted to buy it for me, so he wanted to make it a present. So he was trying to convince me not to actually buy it myself, which he succeeded. And then at the end of the trip, we were in Rotterdam, which is very fun. It's a really cool city, Rotterdam. He gave me this as the Sennelier one. He bought the 12 pen because he thought that, I'll be fine with just mixing colors. He doesn't know me very well on that regard. But he then said that I can, with this occasion, learn how to mix colors. So this is what we're doing. Learning how to mix colors. It's really nice. Okay, so this side is kind of done. I'm going to continue with some drawing on this other side while this one's dry out, and then we're gonna see what type of other stuff we need to do, like add highlights, add other stuff, and then maybe in the end I'll decide what color to do that one. Unless somebody in the chat is telling me the Cupcake liner should have a certain color, like whatever you think would fit, and then I can actually use it. So let's go back. What do we have here? Let's make another flower here. And I'm just gonna repeat the colors because these are very beautiful colors anyway. So I don't wanna overwhelm anything. It's like the colors are fine. Okay. Nobody's saying any colors. Are you guys Googling colors? Is this what's going on here? The paper I'm using is Archie's watercolor paper, 300 GSM, and it's cold press. So that means it has quite some tooth. So it's really nice. I particularly like it. And I have stashes upon stashes of Archie's watercolor paper because every time I go to an art show, I buy an extra pad of watercolor paper. I don't know why I keep buying them because I have such a big stash, to be honest, but it always feels like, but what if they're not gonna make it anymore? What if I'm running out of it? What if in the middle of a stream I'm going to need an extra sheet of watercolor paper and you know, I can't get it? What happens then? It's not how it's supposed to be. So I'm just going to rotate it because it is easier on the drawing. And of course I see it only after the fact. And I'm adding the stamen. You could lake it white with some light shading. That is true. That will make it stand out. Wanna have some eucalyptus leaves here. You guys know the eucalyptus? I actually got some flowers because on the 1st of December we had our anniversary, like many years being married, which was really nice. And the flowers that I got also had the eucalyptus. So I'm just drawing it there, and then we can use some nice, we can mix. Finally we gonna get to mixing some nice bluish green. And in here I'm gonna make a a flower that has some seeds. And it's gonna be nice. Nobody else is jumping in on the color, so I'm tempted to take the advice of Mellow. Unless somebody is vetoing it, by which case, anyway, we can talk about it. So usually when the office would have been opened on Sinterklaas, all the kids of my colleagues would have had the opportunity to meet with Sinterklaas and get their presents at work. It's always fun to see all the kids from all the colleagues. But since the office is closed, so we don't have that one. Okay, I'm going to turn this one around again, and we're going to just continue. Let me see. Should use the same brush. So now Wisteria. You know why I bought this color? Because I really wanted to draw a Wisteria flower. And I thought I need that color. I need the color Wisteria. And I bought the color. And I only did Wisteria at during Inktober. But I did actually color it in. So it's actually going to be the first time that I'm actually using the Wisteria color for something. Which is funny because I'm buying colors and sometimes they're quite expensive. Okay, I got a bit scared. I thought it was the cat above, but it's not the cat. It's just I have a piece of vellum on top of the light above. So as to not make the light very harsh for everybody. I mean, I don't have a professional set that I do the live streaming with. Let's be very clear. I have just 2 lamps above and pieces of vellum on top of them. So, you know, it works. But the vellum disconnected, so that's okay. Normally, I'll make this one this color. Let's see. The flowers are very dramatic. They look like they're almost, I don't want to say dead or anything. Past their prime. Is that the correct name? Yes, but it's nice because it's all in the theme of these cool colors and this cool color scheme. So it's like really wintry theme, which is what I was going for. And don't get scared. Like usually with watercolors, like the first layer or anything looks really bad. It's never what you imagine it's going to be. It's going to just dry out a totally different color than what you're expecting. So don't be afraid, but also don't get discouraged. You can never get with watercolors from the first layer anything. So that is for sure. I'm going to use the lavender for the bud here. So do any of you do watercolors? Or different type of coloring maybe? it'll be funny if you guys say, no, actually, we're not doing any type of coloring. That would be interesting. I'm going to make sure that this, because then I will ask you, what are you doing here then? But I'm assuming you are all coloring certain stuff or drawing, right? What I was trying to do is, it has quite some harsh edges here. So I was trying to not have such harsh edges, but it's okay. Okay, now I need the bluish green. So I'm going to take the, which one should I take? I'm going to take the Prussian green, which is always a very funny green. Quite bluish as well. And I'm going to add more blue, and that is more phthalo blue to it. So I'm having a piece of watercolor paper here, and I'm just testing the color because I'm mixing it right now for the first time, so I don't know. Okay, now we're talking. Now it's like a more bluish green. So I added twice phthalo blue, and now I'm going to just dilute this with water. So I made a very concentrated color, and I'm gonna dilute it even more. Because this is for this one. This is for the eucalyptus, and I'm going to deepen the color afterwards, but yeah, it's gonna look nice. Okay, you're just watching me. Okay, that's still good. Thank you for the compliment. I was hoping that the coloring is nice. So I diluted this color like 3 times just to get this one. So, and I'm gonna do the one above as well. This one is also kind of eucalyptus, but this has seeds, so the seeds are gonna be much darker green. So people say that you theoretically don't need many colors, you just need some good blues and greens and reds and yellows, and maybe a gray, and that should be enough of a palette to do anything. Which I don't know if I agree. Again, I went above the lines because, well, I don't see very well. So I'm just gonna blend it out and pretend that it's just normal, like watercolors and stuff. Maybe I'll do some splatter at the end. That'll be cool. We just have to cheat a little and pretend it was like all this color stuff here was intentional. And then just deepen the color of the leaves on the second layer. So that's okay. We're gonna just have fun. I am a perfectionist, so I like everything to be within the lines and within the confines of lines, and sometimes it really bothers me when people do like these really loose watercolory thingies, because I don't enjoy that at all. But when you have to, you have to. Okay, we're gonna go back to the petals of this flower because this one we didn't do. I was letting the normal petals dry out. So one tip is leave stuff to dry and don't color in things that are very close to each other, because then it's gonna bleed into each other. Unless you're going for the bleeding idea, in which case by all means do whatever you want. I will just have some more fun adding some more green. Somebody once was asking me what would be, because theoretically with cheaper watercolors you can also get really nice results, right? If you want to do, I would always say, why would I spend so much money on more expensive watercolors? And I would always say it depends what you want to use the finished piece for, because the finished piece, if you want to put it in a frame it, and you watching it for, I'm not gonna say all eternity, but for the next few years, what you need to look for is light fastness of the colors. So how much resistance do they have to fading over time? And the cheaper watercolors, although sometimes they look more pigmented and more nicer, they don't have very good light fastness. So if you leave them in a frame, in a few years, some watercolors I had that in just 1 month the color faded. So it really depends what you want and how you foresee things. I would say if you plan to gift it to somebody, or if you plan for them to have it for a longer time, take my word for it and invest in some good watercolors. I believe even the cheapest version, the cheapest set that you can get that is quite nice and quite light fast is the Mijello Mission Gold. I'm not doing them any promotion or anything, but for the price and for the fact that you get so many colors, it's pretty good quality. So you could invest in one of those sets and then yeah, do what you need to do. If however you're just doing, like, a lot of people maybe are doing it just for YouTube, and then they might scan it and sell it or anything, but that might not be for the purposes of that piece is gonna be long-lived. That is perfectly fine. I mean, no reason for us to stress, and then you can definitely use cheaper watercolors. Would I be doing it just because I'm doing stuff on YouTube? No, because I like to gift these ones to friends and family, and I would like them to have a little bit more long-lasting present. So almost all the ones that I have lasted for several years, so I'm just aiming for at least 10 years, like very professional watercolors, like the type in the museum. Even the ones in the museums, after about 100 years, they really fade. So the watercolors really fade. It's not like acrylic, it's going to be like forever or something. It really is a medium that fades. But yeah, at least it's longer lasting than just normal fading, I would say. I know the color is gonna fade, so I don't worry because I'm gonna add an extra layer. And I'm going to add an extra layer on the purple. Okay. One way to get rid of hard edges is to go opposite. So not try to spread the color into the other color, but go with the water against the color. And, you know, that makes it spread much better. Yes, and I do wait a lot for my Christmas vacation because I took some vacation. It's gonna be really nice. And the reason why I wait for Christmas vacation is because that's the time when I'm allowed to eat cookies. So I'll probably some of them cook myself. It's gonna be fun. Like I can do cupcakes and other cookie stuff. I try not to go overboard with my sweets. Okay, there's only a few things that are left over to do, which I'm glad. So I'm going to continue adding colors. Spreading things around. And other stuff. Okay, so now a little bit more concentrated blue. Just gonna add it. No rhyme and reason. Normally you would follow the light. I'm a little bit too tired for now to follow the light. I'm just gonna do it with no rhyme and reason, just to have some variation in color for this eucalyptus sprig. It's really nice. And then I'm going to add some extra color into these leaves. I'm picking up the color. The reason why is I'm using a brush number 5, and that has lots of pigment on it, and I don't want to switch to a smaller brush. Don't ask me why I don't want to switch to a smaller brush. I'm probably just very stubborn. But that's fine. I saw some other artists on YouTube, even for the small details, they're still using like the number 10 or the number 12 brush. So I technically have to learn how to use it also. So, you know, let's just do it if we can. "19 people watching. Woo, that's nice. Nice. In a way, you want to have more. In another way, it's okay because I don't have to moderate anything in the chat, so I don't have to worry about chat moderation. Yay. Okay. So now, what will I do there? I'm adding some brown because it's gonna be like some sprigs, some winter tree sprigs. And guess what I'm gonna do them with? I'm going to do them with the same kind of bluish. This time I'm going to use a number 1. Look, I'm courageous. I'm switching brushes. So the way we do it is we're gonna go really fast and really kind of in all sorts of directions, but it needs to be really fast and really not a lot of pressure, because otherwise we're gonna have to add variation in color with different colors. But so far nice. Okay. This is so awkward in the other direction because you can't just not put pressure on it. So weird. They still look nice, I think, irrespective of what's happening. I'm gonna add some more different shades of green, more darker. This is the forest green, very sparingly. So apparently people that use white in watercolor are not really watercolor purists. They are infringing on watercoloring because you're supposed to learn to leave the white of the paper out. But the people that do like to do white and other colors, they said, well, actually, we're gonna pretend that we're doing modern watercolors, and they call themselves modern watercolorists. I don't necessarily have all these weird views. I'm thinking, irrespective of things, it's still watercolor. I mean, you're using watercolors, so how is that going to work otherwise? I'm just trying to add some reds here. Then I'm going to do just the cupcake. So if any of you are watercolor purists out there, I don't know what's wrong, man. We need to embrace other disciplines and other crafts. We need to be united what we are doing. So yeah. Okay, where were we with our Christmas stories? So the funny part is that this Christmas, or around the 20th of something of December, has always been celebrated almost in every culture, because it's also the time when the real cold would come and, you know, things will start to change. So on the Romans there was the Saturnalia, and they would also welcome the new year. They would make parties and give presents and so on. So yeah, that will be, I think every culture had this. Doesn't have to be only Christianity. I'm adding really like the dark purple to them. Okay, and the last one's gonna be the cupcake, and then I'm going to add just details with more pen, with white pen, with pencils, and you know, all the other stuff. I have a gray titanium, so I'm just going to add slight shadows. Not gonna do all, we're not gonna do everything. Just gonna leave lots of the white on. Just gonna spread things around. And I'm just assuming this looks good, but I don't see it that well, so I'm just like looking at the colors. They look like they go well together. So I'm also just hoping that everything is going to be all right. Okay. I will add some more colors later on. Okay, now I'm gonna go with the Micron pen and add some details. I'm going to grab my white gel pen to also add some details. Okay, let's first do the white gel pen. And here. Victor, I see well and I can confirm the colors look well together. Thank you, Victor. You see my eyes are getting super tired because what happens is everything doubles for me and it's pretty unsharp. So I'm trying really hard to this looks like snow, I think. Usually I can sustain without glasses for about an hour or two before I'm like, okay, I really need some glasses. Okay, I'm adding some veins to the leaves, make it more interesting. Okay. All in all, I think the colors work very well together. They're all kind of wintry, all very cool colors. So I don't have any regrets. Of course, tomorrow I'll get to see what I've actually done when I can actually wear the glasses again. And then I'll realize whether or not I made like not very good choices or not. But until tomorrow, I'm just going to have to live with it. I'm just adding lots of dots and lots of cool stuff. So that... Okay. So this color gets here. Yeah, pretty nice coordination. This one, this one, this one, this one is a nice like popping thing, and I'm thinking the centers needs to have just a slight bit of that red, just to tie everything together, and only in the center, like a little bit. Normally the center of anemones are very dark, but because I've actually used really dark colors on the petals, I'm not gonna make it super dark. I put way too much water in there. But I'm just gonna tie in the colors together so that they are equal. Okay. So now, as always, from the friends that are watching this, you guys can let me know who wants to have this one hanging in their home. If any. Could be that nobody wants it. It's fine. It's fine. And if you wonder why only my friends, is because otherwise I have to actually go to the post office. And in a pandemic, I'm going to let the post be the guys that are doing the really hard things. They need it for different, like for emergency stuff. But for my friends, I can bring them myself whenever we meet. Okay, I'm gonna let the centers dry out a bit, and then I'm gonna add some more dots. I wonder if I should. Okay. Dum 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 dum. I don't dare to add the Micron while it's still wet. So I'm kind of blowing on the paint, hoping it's going to be really nice. Okay. Anyway, I do not think we're gonna be here more than let's say 5 more minutes. So I wanted to say a big thank you to everybody that's watching. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the fact that you are watching this with me, and I know it's a long stream and all, but I really appreciate the fact that you are guys watching me with me. And I know that it's not always smooth, because I do quite a lot of things just out of instinct, I would say. But I enjoy that. I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy having you all here. And I hope you guys had quite some inspiration. I can't even add color there because it's wet. So, oh, that one will be later on. I hope you had some inspiration for some little art that you can do for your friends and family. It doesn't have to be super elaborate, like just some flowers. And by the way, if you can't draw, it's okay. I think that you can use stamping and just color it in. Yeah. I have lots of stamps and I have lots of flower stamps, and it's okay if you do that. Because sometimes you are in a place where you have to learn how to watercolor, or you want to do things, or maybe you just don't have time because all of this costs time and you have many friends. So just do some nice arrangement, and then that will be an awesome gift for your friends. You don't have to gift your friends anything monetary, as long as you can give them the time that you spend on something, right? Thank you so much for watching tonight. Let's see. Hello, thanks. Marlena, thank you. All the designs look wonderfully cool. Thanks for the nice drawing. Unless somebody has another question, but if you do have questions, leave it in the comments, because I will be answering the comments and all that stuff. For now, I'm going to sign off and a little bit rest. And you know, like, if you want to see a close-up picture of this one, like, follow me on Instagram. Link is in the description below, because that's where I usually post all my pictures and everything from what I'm doing. So if you want to see like close-ups, or probably is whenever I'm doing pictures, it's gonna be cats in them. So yeah, I'm going to just have fun with that. Yeah. Nobody has claimed this one, so I'll just randomly select some people. But anyway, I'm going to stop the stream now. Goodbye and see you guys.